I was on Twitter earlier this morning, and the president was also on Twitter, and I just want to update you on something he said about an hour ago. He said the OPEC monopoly must remember that gas prices are up and they're doing very little to help. If anything, they're driving prices higher as the United States defends many of their members for very little money. This must be a two-way street. Reduce pricing now. Your reaction?
Well, I'm not sure. Well, Trump probably doesn't think that he has any impact on the crude prices. But look, all the recent surge in oil prices, there's been a couple of factors, as we know. Libya production is down because of the internal conflict. I mean, production in Libya is down 850,000 barrels per day. Canadian Syncrude, the outage, has led the US buyers to look at alternative, and that's drawn down the Cushing stocks and pushed WTI prices. But a big factor is also the US sanctions on Iran. I mean, last week or earlier this week, the White House says that they want buyers to completely cut their Iranian crude imports by 4th November. You've got to remember, Iran's exports in June was 2.28 million barrels per day. And that's already down from 2.4 in May and 2.6 in April. But if White House really stands that line, you're going to take 2 million barrels per day off the market. The impact on the crude prices is going to be quite severe, I think. Yeah. So I think that they've got to temper what their plans are in terms of Iran.
Okay, so how is OPEC going to respond to the president's request? We know he's been upping the ante and the pressure on Saudi Arabia to do more, to pump more oil and to essentially try and push prices lower. He has a political motivation and a political imperative to achieve that. Yeah. So are the Saudis going to appease him? Will they pump more?
Yeah, probably. I mean, at the moment, what we understand is that Saudi Arabia has indicated that it's going to raise production to 10.8 million barrels per day. That's a record high. And that is already 800,000 barrels per day from what we estimated they were producing in May. So, and that's a big increase, considering that Saudi capacity is roughly 12 million barrels per day. So they're getting very close to capacity. We've seen the other Middle East countries. Kuwait has already said that they're going to increase production by, I think, around 85,000 barrels per day or something. I mean, well, they're going to increase production in July. And Algeria is going to increase production slightly by about 26,000 barrels per day. So, but I think the worry is that there's not a lot of spare capacity available. There is Russia. Russia has said that it can increase quite quickly by 200,000 barrels per day, and it can probably increase a little bit more further down. But other than that, you don't see a lot of unused capacity globally. Yeah? I mean, there is the US, but with the pipeline constraints right now, there is some limitations of how much more exports they can put into the market. Okay.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.